Oh, Mr. Pigman, no! Man, at some point these guys really gotta learn not to just Leroy Jenkins into the spider nest. Hey there, my name is Salendrak and welcome back to the second episode of my Don't Starve Reign of Giants Wagstaff playthrough. Let's get right to it. When we left off, Wagstaff had just taken out his first periodic Hound Attack. My inventory is pretty full, so I just leave the monster meat on the ground. I then grab a few berries and taste test some honey. Normally honey provides 3 points of healing, but since it's a raw food, Wagstaff doesn't like it. The healing seems to get negated by his picky stomach and I neither take damage nor get healed by the honey. But let's go ahead and zip ahead. After a quick jog through the killer bees, I'm back in the savannah and before long I finally find some beefalo. I'll have to come back later to see if there are any bigger herds in the middle of the savannah, but so far my chances of getting a beefalo hat before winter are looking pretty slim. A little bit past the savannah I find the ring thing set piece and mark it with a rabbit trap. Most of the thing set pieces are easy to spot on the map, but this one blends in. You may have noticed that I haven't bothered picking any of these up. That's because unless you are planning to world hop with the teleportado, there really isn't any need to gather them, and doing so just takes up valuable inventory space. I'm back in a spider forest again and come across the Sunken boat set piece and Wolly the Parrot. You can give various trinkets to Wolly, who rewards you with different colored gems, a red feather, and sometimes a flint, gold nugget, or a stack of flower petals. Overall though, he's pretty useless as the Pig King gives you much more gold. If you're playing in a shipwrecked compatible world, the boat can be smashed with a hammer to get the seaworthy trinket, which is needed to make the seaworthy ride structure to warp you to the shipwrecked world. Up ahead I find the deciduous forest and eventually come across another pig village which will undoubtedly have the Pig King. It's going to be a full moon tonight, but as the pigs are already in their houses for dusk, the area would most likely be safe, but I just move on anyways. My sanity is a little bit low though, so I start gathering green mushrooms in the forest. Up ahead I find the box thing set piece and its garden gnome. I probably should have grabbed the garden gnome as it can get stolen by catcoons. Just before it turns to night I happen across Glommer's statue and get to watch his flower bloom. Aw, how pretty! I almost mined the statue, which gives you the old bell blueprint, but decide to save that for later. Instead, I drop a campfire to cook up my green caps and get some sanity back. I also cook up some berries for a little healing and hunger restoration and then move on. A short distance later, I'm back to the clockwork set piece I found on day 1, and a little bit further ahead, I complete the outlining of my world. Day 10 is a little bit on the slow side, but I wasn't in any particular hurry, and we'll have plenty of time to build a base and prepare for winter. So let's take a look at this world and consider its map. Overall, I rather like the shape. Some worlds are pretty stretched out and elongated, but this one is more star-shaped with peninsulas that branch off of the central biomes. I generally like to build my base in a grassy area, mostly just because I like the ambient sounds and the color scheme. This spot up here has lots of great resources nearby, pigs, spiders, and a small swamp, but it is a bit remote from the rest of the world. So I decide to run around the roads a bit to see what all is in the interior and then outline an internal lake area. I'm currently thinking about building a base in the grassy area just to the north of my current position. It still has lots of great resources nearby, but is a more centralized location in the world. And there's a wormhole nearby, so let's see where it goes. Yeah, not the most useful wormhole. So I hop back in and decide to head over to the desert to see where the other side of that desert wormhole is. Okay, that puts me in the savannah, so a base here with easy access to the desert is certainly an option. But I ultimately decide to go with that triangle-shaped grassland in the middle of the world. It's a bit closer to the ocean than I generally prefer, so I might have to deal with Pengulls setting up a camp in my base during the winter, but the centralized location with nearby resources overall seems like a win. Before I can head up to the spot, my goggles break. I was planning to make them into a visor before they broke, but got distracted and forgot. Oh well, new goggles it is. I run up to the grassland, pick a spot, and then start making a base. I like to dig up a star-shaped area of turf first. Since I don't use a geometric placement mod, the turf squares help me to space things out in a pattern that I enjoy using. Fire pit goes in the very middle, lightning rod up in the top corner, and alchemy engine off to the right. My kitchen will go to the left, but I'll need to go burn down a forest to get some charcoal first. Since I already have all the stuff for a bird cage, I go ahead and plop that down, then make a chest to unload some of my inventory and forget to unload the inventory. I need some more wood, so I start clearing out some of the nearby birch trees. Overall, I prefer pine over birch, largely because I can't stand the poison birch nut trees and would rather deal with a tree guard any day. I remove a few saplings, then light a corner of the nearby forest on fire. It might spread up a little ways towards that wormhole, but as long as I'm not in the area, it won't go very far. I then pick an area to plant my saplings and then head up to harvest the charcoal. Quick tip, you can speed up the animation of chopping a burnt tree by tapping a movement key right after you hit the tree with your axe, allowing you to pick up the charcoal much faster. Back at base, I actually unload some of my inventory, do some organization, and then prototype and place my first crockpot. I need healing and food, so I go ahead and make a honey ham. It heals 30 and provides 75 food points, so it's a pretty balanced meal. While it cooks, I place my second and third crockpots, but I'm too low on charcoal to place the fourth. So I go ahead and prototype an icebox, then make a big fire and start clearing out more of the trees around my base. I decided to put my berry bush farm just north of base, and then got distracted by butterflies and didn't realize that I had dropped the last one on the ground. Whoops. Next, it's off to the forest to fight spiders for some meat and silk, which I need for a bird trap. I didn't get enough silk from the spiders, so I go ahead and break this level 2 nest. There are plenty more in the forest for later. I grab a red mushroom that I'll use for pierogi once I have a bird for eggs, and a moment later catch a red bird for my cage and make a pierogi. I still need more charcoal to finish my kitchen, so I head back to the forest, make a fire break, then light the trees. While they burn, I plant the saplings, then gather the charcoal, eat the pierogi, and work on fleshing out my base. Fourth crockpot goes down at the start of night, and then the iceboxes finish the kitchen before dawn of the 13th day. I'm low on monster meat, so I head to the forest to fight more spiders and then grab more red caps for pierogis. One more of this healing food will have me back at full health, but I go ahead and prototype a healing salve all the same. I probably shouldn't have used it given there was pierogi waiting for me, oh well. I want to get some drying racks up and running, so I go ahead and prototype one, but I like to put some wooden turf underneath them and don't currently have enough logs. At this point, I go a bit brain dead and prepare to do my normal routine of hire some pig lumberers rather than use Wagstaff's Thumper in a heavily wooded area. So I plant a pig house I had prototyped earlier, hire the pig with the monster meat, then go grab a few more friends and put them to work. 3 to 4 pigs can generally chop trees faster than you can dig up the stumps and pick everything up. Before long, I've got plenty of wood and eventually a tree guard spawns and puts an end to the expedition. I let the pigs go ahead and fight it while I continue to gather the materials, and then I head over to finish it off. The pigs fought so well, I decide to see how they'll do against some tentacles, and they take one out with any of them dying. Not bad. Yeah, it would have been more efficient to just kill the tentacle myself, but sometimes I feel a little sadistic. Back in the forest, my hunting party takes out a few spiders, then I head back to base and prototype a Thumper. It's day 15 and I finish my first row of storage chests, place my standard toolbox and wood box, and do some organization. I don't have a good source of small meats nearby, so I'll need to go and find some moleworms, but first I place my Thumper and plant a bunch of trees nearby. I'm not sure exactly how the mechanics of this thing work. I seem to not get hurt by it, and it looks like it does an AoE in a pretty large area around it. After I plant my trees, it's off to find some moleworms. I'll also grab some turf from the clockworks to decorate my base. Over in the deciduous forest, I find my first victim. A quick whack with the hammer, I then dig up his hole and keep searching. I'll also use this time to map out the area. I'm really OCD when it comes to mapping and just have to explore every square inch of my world. Since I still need to build all my drying racks, I'm pretty happy to find a rope boon. I keep exploring by torchlight, but surprisingly don't find any more moleworms in this forest. I do, however, discover that the catcoons did in fact steal the garden gnome. Oh well. I go ahead and pick up the box thing and take it with me while I hunt for more moleworms. Near the pig village, I find a boomerang boon and then find another moleworm finally. When it's day, you can just dig them up with a shovel first, then smack them with the hammer and pick up the moleworm. This village does in fact have the Pig King as well as a sinkhole to the caves. I find some suspicious tracks in the village and decide to follow them. The 10th mound reveals a koalefant who also happens to be near another moleworm. There's a narrow corner of land nearby that I chase the koalefant to and then slay him. Cute little meatbags, aren't they? The attack pattern for koalefants and beefalo is the same, 6 hits then a dodge, rinse and repeat until dead. Another moleworm puts me at 4 of them. I next head to the clockwork set piece to gather some turf for my base. After killing a knight at night, I start digging up the carpeted flooring, then start gathering a stack of checkered flooring, pausing to kill another knight. The way these guys run away after their attack is a little bit annoying, but the trick is to get as close as you can before they hop away and then start your attack, and then they're pretty easy. On my way back to base, I nab a 5th Moleworm and now have enough to satisfy all my small meat needs. Back at base, I drop them on the ground, then place my turf. Aside from aesthetics, these craftable turf also provide the benefit of preventing eye plants from spawning inside my base. It's now day 18 and I've dug up some turf and then placed down wooden flooring to go underneath my drying racks, which I start to place next. And since I've got plenty of meat from the koalefant from earlier, it's time to start making jerky. Normally this is an extremely useful food for healing, hunger, and sanity, but I'm not sure how it will affect Wagstaff's stomach as it isn't a cooked food. I then go ahead and prototype a ham bat and remember to make a visor out of my low durability Spectoggles. Haha, I love the reduced field of vision due to the helmet. Also cracks me up how it covers his hair, gotta protect your hairdo. I spend the rest of the dusk harvesting moleworms, sorting my inventory and storage, and making some bacon and eggs for a road trip. I need to go get some beefalo wool and hopefully a beefalo horn for some winter clothing, as winter is just a few days away. On the morning of day 19, I decide to make another pair of Spectoggles. Although the visor has the benefit of not losing durability while worn, its reduced field of vision is a bit annoying for me the player, and I'm guessing really annoying for you the viewer. After prototyping a razor, I'm off to the savannah. I start off by grabbing the grass and beefalo wool from the disused pen set, and then set off to explore the rest of the savannah to try to find more herds. By the time it turns to dusk, I haven't found any, but I do start hearing the sound of the next Hound Attack. I do see one beefalo on the shores of a lake, but before long I throw on my visor and grab my ham bat, because here come the hounds. A fresh ham bat kills hounds in 3 hits compared to the spear's 5. So you just have to dodge the first attack and then can kill the hound before it can attack again. There's only 2 hounds this round and I take them out fast and continue my beefalo search. I go ahead and grab the crank thing and finish exploring the savannah, having found a grand total of maybe 4 beefalo. I head back up to where I saw a pair earlier and drop a campfire. The rain combined with being almost winter has me freezing, but after warming up I shave the cows and grab the wool. Because beefalo can reproduce even if there's only one in a herd, I decide to wait until morning and kill one of these guys. There's a small chance there might be more beefalo in the other savanna areas, but I'm not very optimistic. When morning arrives, I feed some grass to my prey and lead him off to his doom. No beefalo horn though, and I don't dare kill any more lest I eliminate the herd, so it's off to the other savannas to see if there are any more herds to be found. Although I do find a 3rd walrus campsite, there are unfortunately no other beefalo, so my plan at this point is to hunt the walruses as soon as I can at the start of winter to hopefully get a quick tam o' shanter and a walking stick. Before heading home, I decide to avenge a fallen pig and stock up on monster meat and silk in the process. My fresh ham bat kills the spiders in 2 hits each, so it's pretty fast work. I go ahead and replant the nest near the walrus camp that is nearest to my base, as the spiders will most likely distract the walruses so I can slip in and gank McTusk. Back at base, I head over to my Thumper and give it a go and discover that it does in fact hurt me if I get hit by the shockwave. I head back to base for the night, cook up the tall bird egg for dinner, and go ahead and make 2 buckets of poop to fertilize my berry bushes and grassy tufts. They won't be able to grow anything before winter sets in, but at least they'll be ready for when spring does arrive. I spend the rest of the night killing moleworms and prepping a few food dishes, and with dawn comes the arrival of winter and the end of this episode. In the next episode, I'll be on the hunt for some warm winter wear. One of the drawbacks of Wagstaff is that none of his goggles provide warmth, but none of the normal winter wear headpieces provide the vision perks of goggles. Will a tam o' shanter be worth using, or will I instead resort to a puffy vest? Stay tuned for the next episode to find out. If you're enjoying these videos, please let me know down in the comments, smash that like button, and subscribe to be notified of future additions on the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Cheers!